But then we got Black Adam. Of course, I did a box office video yesterday. Oh man, I'm so used to like pushing my glasses up right here. So different. So different. Anyways, I know what. I wonder what you guys are saying. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, we got the box office for Black Adam. I did a box office video yesterday, and hopefully you guys checked it out, but we'll, of course, look at it right now just a little bit more and see where Black Adam is current. And there hasn't been any updated numbers, which is always strange to me. Well, kind of. They added 300,000 to the international number, but yeah, I mean, this is the box office mojo number right here, 250.2 million. That's what it's at right now. Of course, it's going to be releasing in China in about 2 weeks. That's what I read. So hopefully that'll pump it up a little bit more. But I mean, it is pretty interesting that the international and domestic are pretty close. You know, they're fairly close. I thought it would be more international than domestic. So we got all that. But there's that, and you know, it's subpar. Let's face it. It's not. Obviously, they would love that number to be double than what it is. They would rather it be at a half a billion, or at least in the 300s or the 400 million range. And yes, is it going to have legs? Enough legs? Is China gonna help it out? China? Are they gonna help it out? Who knows? But there was also a new report that came out too that I wanted to talk about that was interesting. And I mean, it comes from the Wrap, but I'm not going to pull up the Wrap because I think it was from Mr. Scoopy Pants. But I'm gonna bring it up from the Direct right here. It says Dwayne Johnson reportedly disapproves of Shazam and even removed its Black Adam scene and wanted them apparently. So because we all know that the first Shazam movie did, in fact, of course, kind of show off and show Shazam and when the wizard's telling Billy Batson, like, hey, this is what's, there's all champions and whatever the hell. But yeah, so according to this right here, however, those who have seen Black Adam would know that not a single direct mention of Shazam himself is made. Yeah. Which is, again, this is what's all weird about this. And this is what has been frustrating for me and probably frustrating for another David F. Sandberg. It's like, again, when we were talking about David F. Sandberg earlier and saying that Shazam! Fury of the Gods is complete, it's just kind of like crazy the fact that it's like, all right, why has there not been any communication? Because even David F. Sandberg at Comic-Con said, this is the closest I've been to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson ever. When they were doing press, they literally shared a stage. Why the fuck are they not communicating? And to be honest, I just think because Dwayne Johnson hates the fact that he's the arch nemesis to a kid. I think that's what it is. That's why he keeps pushing the Superman thing so much. But it's just kind of shitty because it's like, well, dude, you have to face off with Shazam. It just has to be the case. It just is. I don't think Dwayne Johnson really likes it, but according to this new report, and who knows if it's true, in fact, in the movie, getting Dwayne Johnson's villain to say Shazam is literally a plot point towards the beginning of the movie, one speared by the Justice Society and all that stuff. So why did DC's latest film completely ignore? Well, in this article from The Wrap, speculating that the future of the DCU, which we're going to talk about next, will look like, now with James Gunn and all that stuff, said they noted the history of Black Adam's leading star doing his best to separate his anti-hero from Zachary Levi's own project. In fact, Shazam, a movie produced by new DCU boss Safran, even had a scene in which directly alluded to Teth Adam. However, producers Danny and Hiram Garcia, along with Johnson, asked the studio to move the anti-hero away from his comic book rival. It says right in the 2019's movie deleted scene can see, yes, there's actually there's a scene where you actually, instead of just seeing like a little tease, you actually see more of that scene, so they cut it out. Yes, probably isn't loving the idea that his boss Safran is now, and see, that's another thing too, we got Peter Safran here, and who did produce that movie, is now running things when it comes to DC Studios, and they're saying that Johnson probably isn't loving the idea that he is up there, but what could he do? Safran needs to win over all the other filmmakers, and Dwayne Johnson's thinly veiled disdain for Shazam means he probably isn't loving the idea that his boss is now the guy that produces Shazam. Safran is pretty diplomatic, so I think he will put it off, but it won't be easy. So just kind of talking about that. And then, of course, the whole back thing and like signed on for Black Adam. Later, the star was able to convince the studio to go make a different separate movies. In Dwayne Johnson's own words, he noticed that Shazam's original script is great, but that they should separate Shazam and Black Adam. So there's just all that thing. That's what's so interesting about it. It's like, why? I mean, you have to, Dwayne. You have to. You're going to have to exchange fists with Shazam. It's just the way it's got to be. And he's just totally like Superman. No mention of Shazam. And I'm kind of wondering, like, why aren't the people interviewing him talking about Shazam? Like, hey, are we going to see a showdown between you and your actual arch nemesis? Yes, we want you to face off against Superman, but we also want this too. Okay? I don't think he wants it. He doesn't want it because it's not enough. I don't think it's not enough. So I'm kind of just like, I don't really like that, but I mean, zero mention in Black Adam of the Shazam character, Billy Batson, any of that. Zero mention, nothing. It was just trying to be its own thing, but they were like Superman. So I just think there should have been a little bit of mention, at least in Black Adam, but sadly there wasn't. So